DDG episode 254. My name is Dave Hunt, and I'm joined by Michael Swick.
Dave, it took me a while to figure out what episode number it was because we had an old Google Doc we haven't looked at in a
Yeah,
while, and then had to go on the website, make sure that was still running. A lot of things, but 254. It's been a while.
yeah. I had to use full names because in case maybe people don't remember who we are. Um,
Yep,
so
yep. Always
let's
helps.
let's get this out of the way, right off the jump. A couple of you reached out via email, and I responded to those emails. A lot of you saw, if you followed us, if you joined the Discord server, or you followed us on Facebook, or just follow me on social media in general. Shoot, it's February of 2026 right now. So just trying to time frame this. So
Our last episode was June,
June,
if that
yeah.
helps.
So at the end of May, well, actually about the middle of June, Angela, my wife Angela, she had her routine stuff of getting old and all the tests and everything that you need to do, and she obviously had some inconsistencies showing in her mammograms, which led to breast cancer, which led to a surgery, which led to a complication from a surgery, and then the results post surgery weren't what we wanted, and it's led to chemotherapy, which she has begun, done, and completed now. And she is in a little bit of a breather right now, and then she's starting radiation. So when the first, when the news hit, it feels like something that kind of hits you like very hard. And having never gone through any of this before, we really didn't know. And that was when Michael and I kind of decided to, I think initially we talked about like a 2-month pause.
Yeah.
And, hoping that everything that the doctors were telling us was that this was caught early, and it would be able to be taken care of, and it would be smooth. And that was the last time that any of the doctors used the word smooth. It's a little bit like half-heartedly. I'm not laughing at my wife. I'm just kind of laughing at her situation because we've been going through it for so long. She got put out of work. She's going back to work next week, and it was just a lot. So I believe she has some form of stage 2 breast cancer. I think it's like a 2 in a letter. She might be in the chat, or she is in the chat, and I'm sure she'll say something or I'll repeat it. I don't know the exact terminologies. I'm not necessarily going into super details about what happened, but yeah, cancer sucks. It didn't happen to me, but it did. It is happening to my wife, and it is sometimes cancer. It's like we've learned that you can go in and literally grab cancer and take it out and be okay and be quote unquote in remission or cancer free. Breast cancer doesn't work like that. So it's just kind of in this, to put a sports term into it, we're kind of just in this prevent defense mode. And one thing led to another. Chemotherapy started. It was once every 3 weeks. She wasn't handling it super well. She's had some other complications during the process, and then next thing I look up, it's the holidays. It's like the middle of November, and I'm like, I don't think I can. I don't think I can record right now. And then after we already knew, like, as it was starting to level out a little bit, we were going into like the holiday lull, where when I was talking to Michael about it, he's like, well, everybody went home. The game studios, like we do our normal December, everybody kind of
Yeah.
went home. And so then we kind of just waited. And then, she's supposed to have another procedure done that's been delayed, and we've just kind of been through the gauntlet, and now it's kind of to the point where Michael and I had been talking for the last couple of weeks, and we kind of decided on a somewhat of a different format. It's not going to change too much, but we're going to be a little bit more elastic with how we produce content. Mostly, for me, like we're going on vacation in like 12 days. I didn't even tell him that when we were communicating back and forth.
I knew. I'm just finding out now, Dave. Just fine.
So,
But to be fair, Dave, I believe when we almost brought the podcast back in September, but then you were like, actually, my daughter's getting married.
yeah.
So I need some time. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then you're like, let's get back in October. And I'm like, well, I'm getting married.
Yeah.
So we're going to need more time. And then the holidays hit. And then,
Yep.
everything else that was happening. So like there was multiple times where we were going to bring the podcast back at different points.
But it would only been like a week, and then
just-
we would have been off like a month. It just wasn't going to work.
Exactly,
So,
yeah.
But
Yeah. So we decided February. We decided January, but then like life got no, life
yeah,
happened again,
so
and it was like, okay,
but overall,
February.
like everybody is doing as well as they can be doing. That's kind of what I've been telling everybody. She's doing okay-ish. It's day by day. This is February 4th that we're recording this on a Wednesday night. She is scheduled to go back to work February 9th. She goes back to work for like 4 or 5 days, and then she's off for a week because of how school breaks work. But she needs to get back to work, and it's been a lot just in general. Like there's been stuff going on with my mother, post, almost a year past my father's passing. So it's just been a lot. And when we started DDG years ago, Michael and I said that a family is the priority. Our lives are the priority, not a consistency of a streak or hitting a number or hitting a target. So yeah, I did a little bit of a test stream this week. You guys, like a handful of you guys, came out in droves and were supportive. A lot of people, lots and lots and lots of messages on social media, has been awesome. But yeah, so I kind of wanted to get that out of the way right away. I own this, and if looking back of any mistake that we made is that we kind of just stopped and then didn't even, like, I could have come down here and released like a 15-minute thing telling everybody what's going on, because some people might only use the feed. That didn't really dawn on me until somebody emailed me like in November, December, like, hey, like, where'd it go? Like, or like
Yeah.
Josh didn't even know. Josh Langford didn't even know. And then
He texted me like, "What happened to you guys?" And I'm just like, I have to tell you a lot of things,
yeah,
but
so
you need to call Dave after, and I think he
yeah,
called you
so
like right after
yeah,
he
so
talked
it
to
was
me.
just one of those things where, hindsight 2020, we did not handle that part of it well. I mean, we posted in the Discord, we posted on Twitter, we posted on Facebook group, and so I think that the majority of our listeners, I would probably say 75% maybe knew what was going on, but there's 25% of you that maybe don't use social media, and I don't blame you one bit for not
Yeah,
using social media. So
Twitter's a
um,
hellhole. We still haven't figured out Blue Sky. Nothing's
yeah,
changed in 7 months going
yeah.
there.
So
Yeah.
but I so that's a heartfelt apology from myself that necessarily wasn't handled well, but I didn't really know like what to do, and to be fully honest with you, I went through probably 4 or 6 weeks of like, I don't think I want to get behind a microphone again.
Mhm.
Because it was, and then it fizzled out and stuff kind of chilled out, but yeah, so the cadence that we're kind of hoping for is essentially I think 3 episodes a month.
Yeah,
Um,
that's like the rough thing that I was thinking in terms of
yeah,
what some of the issues we would have in the previous run of the podcast in terms of just like content for us to cover. Like there would be gaps.
yeah.
So yeah.
So what we're thinking is two that are going to be very news focused, one that's going to be very playing focused, and then that also gives us more flexibility of we'll still, because sometimes we toyed around with the idea of like, oh, something's coming out on Thursday, maybe we'll wait to record on Thursday, and we waited and it wasn't that good and the cadence wasn't there, so we might stick to, like, as an example, like, I don't even know, like the 6th of the month and the 25th of the month will be the news one, and the 15th of the month will be the gaming one, to something to that
Yeah.
extent. And then when a state of play, a developer showcase, an E3 style thing, a game awards, a Nintendo Direct, etc., 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 comes up.
Except tomorrow's Nintendo Direct. We're not covering
Yeah.
that one.
um, if it's worth it, though, the cool thing is that you and I can just jump on
We
here for
could.
like 30 minutes and then be
Yeah.
done. So you might see, I want to say, less regularity, but more smaller chunks of content, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of see where that goes, where that goes from there. But we wanted to definitely get back on and kind of talk to you guys, and I feel like I've been talking a ton already, so I'm gonna let you go for a second.
Oh yeah, no. We figured this would be a good way to just like kind of bring back content. Just we like talking about the news. Sometimes news isn't there, and then we would have to come on and then just kind of vamp or hope we played enough games. We're hoping with a new format where we focus on the news specifically for an episode every 2 weeks. About that will help us to just be able to expand on it too. Especially like we would end up having like time constraints, even though we don't have an official like time clock on our episodes. But sometimes if we knew like, hey, we do need to get to a review we're doing or play what we're playing and watching, we would cut some of the topics that we like really were diving into. So it would definitely help us from time to time if we have the ability of like, hey, we're just going to be focused on news, so we can go as long as we want on this without having to worry about like the next segment of the show. We're still going to do questions from the community during all of those episodes. So if you have any questions or anything like that, you can hit us up on social media. We'll start using our social media accounts again. Uh, I took a really long break from Twitter, and it was pretty good. I've just started to start like trying to use Twitter again, and it hasn't been good, but
Yeah.
uh, our Discord is still the best place to
Yeah.
ask questions and just kind of see how we're doing and everyone else in the community. Our Facebook group, Stefan's still keeping it strong. He's actually caught up
Yeah.
on episodes.
He better have.
So he said he is. He said as long as he's been caught up, we'll see.
Yeah.
He's going to fall behind after one episode. But we're hoping this format just kind of helps us kind of keep things fresh and avoid any like stagnation that we had sometimes when this news wasn't happening, or like, man, we really missed this news story a day after we publish
Yeah.
an episode. Like, this should be able to buy us a little bit of time so we can cover more things and cover it more in depth. And then I'm actually excited about doing like a monthly what we're playing,
Yeah.
just so we can actually go into detail about what we're actually playing and have like fuller discussions.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
I'm sure I'm sure Dave's got a lot of Destiny, but like there's other games like High Guard and stuff like that that you've been diving into.
Yeah.
That a full discussion would be good to have. So where it's not just like, hey, here's our week. We're gonna talk about what we're playing for like 2-3 minutes. We can
Yeah.
actually spend time and go into detail.
It's been kind of weird just in general. Like, I feel like I mean, I kind of detached myself a little bit, but I also feel like that there's stuff in here you put in the show notes that we're going to go over, but it was a pretty dull end to 2025 news wise.
It depends on like. Well, the only problem is, I would say we hit the cycle. We kind of saw it, and I think that it was also what's kind of tiring. Is a lot of the news is bad news.
Yeah.
It's been a while since there's been good, positive video game news, and 2025 kind of kept that trend to where it was like acquisition layoff, acquisition layoff. We're going to
Yeah.
talk about a lot of these acquisitions and these layoffs this episode. But in terms of like surprises, like the Game Awards, we almost brought the podcast back for the Game Awards.
Right.
I'm glad we didn't commit to that because it
Well,
was a bad Game Awards.
yeah, but even as an example of that, like I just feel like the consumer, the audience, the gaming audience just is never surprised or happy. Like surprised, like you said, or happy. Like it's just little things that they see a trailer for the first time. I'll use Highguard as an example. Highguard was developed by a bunch of I'm gonna get the studio name wrong, but essentially a bunch of people that left Apex, that developed Apex and
Respawn.
left. Yeah, they left Respawn and they made Wildflight, something. And their intention was to drop Highguard like Apex was dropped, like out of nowhere. And then I think the rumors are, the stuff I've been reading is that Keighley saw it. Keighley said, I want to do something cool with it for you guys. They weren't ready to release a trailer. I mean, this is the same stuff going all the way back to like 2014. They're like, oh, we made a trailer. That trailer got ripped. And then they got mad at Highguard because after the Game Awards, they put the release date on there and then they went radio silent because they went back to their talk to us on release day, and it came out on release day. It saw a huge spike and everybody's like it just seems like they weren't happy. But leading up to the release date, the writers were just ripping on Highguard, like, how are you gonna release a game and not talk about it? Like, their standards, and they're like, and it's just like they just can't be happy. And then the game comes out and they're like, well, this is this is bad, and if they talked about this, it could have fixed it. Like, no, it can't. Like that's kind of why they went the route that they went. Like, they know what they're, for the most part, they know what they're doing, and let them do it.
Yeah, I mean, I was one of those people. I was disappointed with Highguard being the last thing, but I don't even think that's Highguard's fault.
It's Keighley's
I
fault.
think that is a Jeff Keighley fault. That is a Game Awards fault, and that's also people having expectations. Jeff Keighley, previous 2 years, had told people like, keep your expectations low for the show, and then this year he's like, this is going to be one of the greatest shows ever, and people were just hoping for something, and then Highguard wasn't it, and it turned out Highguard's okay. It's decent, it's good, but it just was put in a position where it wasn't going to win, and I feel like the Game Awards has, the Game Awards has become too important, and it lets people down because in reality, announcements in December, the studios just aren't ready to really do big announcements in December. And
well, and the creator,
disappointment.
the creator that no E3 has created, Um,
Yeah.
in terms of the cadence that the consumers are used to where like Nintendo like will do something like once a quarter. State of Play, I feel like is once a half, maybe a little bit, maybe every other quarter. Developer Direct
Depends if
is
there's a
every 3 to
specific
4
game one.
months.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and
Yeah.
it's one of those things where like they're like that's it. I'm like, well, if they would have waited and did shot their shot 90% of their stuff in June, like everybody is so used to, they would have had stuff to wait. But now they're taking 20% increments and releasing it 4 or 5 times a year, which then brings the hype down because a lot of this stuff used to be filler that would be like, oh, that was cool. They showed like 6 games and a beat roll. And now they dedicate 20
Mhm.
minutes to one of those games, and you're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And it's funny though, is like High Guard, we just got the brief glimpse of it, and then people got mad, and then a game came out. Like there was like that radio silence you talked about.
yeah.
But then you have the opposite end of where Resident Evil Requiem has been featured in every
Yeah.
major event for every publisher and every showcase. And there is there's a portion of the audience that is like, I'm tired of seeing this game. So sometimes developers talk too much and you can't win. And it's just kind of where internet culture is right now. And it's been a while since there's been something big that has like made people excited. I can't wait to see Grand Theft Auto at the end of the year and seeing how the world reacts to that. Because a
It's
lot of
it's a
expectations are going
whole
for it.
new
We're going to see
world of
too
what this
much.
game's supposed to be now. Like,
Yes.
it's just a whole new world, and I'll be very, very curious. So, but all right, so we kind of did the intro. We got the little like what happened to us, and where we were and where we're going, what our plan is. Like my work thing, like our 30-day, 60-day, 90-day plan. Like we're kind of almost starting over, but not starting over. So, but we still have the same core thing. So digitaldaysgaming.com is still there. The server is still there. Thank you to Michael for continuing to pay that podcast bill. Um,
Yeah.
that's still there. To be fair, the money in the account, we had a safety net in place, and nobody's going broke over keeping this stuff, so we're okay. I might owe Michael some money from our account, but we're okay.
I forgot to ask, but it's it wasn't a priority.
Yeah,
Like,
so-
hey,
so-
podcast for you. Like,
but everything is still there. Everything should be the same. Hopefully, you're getting this on the same feed that you were always getting it on. We'll find that out when we upload. But we're still there. Twitch is still there. YouTube is still there. Twitter is still there. Facebook group is still there. Discord is still there. Everything's there. Everything's linked in the show notes. Twitch affiliate is still there. So if you didn't subscribe while we were on our sabbatical or a hiatus, that's totally fine. I'm guilty as charged. I forgot. So please consider just checking that again. I know it doesn't auto renew. No hard feelings if you've moved on to somebody else that you're supporting as a streamer. Totally fine. I get it. But we're here, and as always, we want to know what you guys want, what you want to listen to. We are hopefully going to do a little bit of rebranding, redesigning a little bit as we head into 2026, and potentially really, really dig into what I thought maybe would go away after a couple of years, but obviously is not, is the short format, vertical format stuff. So we're really going to try to dig into some of that a little bit, see if we can, grow the community and grow the show and make it easier for you guys to consume our content that way. But we're just going to kind of do a back half of 2025 recap. Michael's going to rapid fire some stuff in here, and there's some interesting stuff, so I'm gonna throw it over to him.
Yeah, again, it's a lot of acquisitions, a lot of layoffs because of those acquisitions, but we are probably still not done with the amount of acquisitions coming. So last year, one of the biggest ones was EA was acquired by the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund, Silver Lake, and Affinity Partners for $55 billion, and they will now be a private company. This did follow a bunch of layoffs and restructuring within EA. One of the games that became a casualty is the Black Panther game that was being worked on by Cliffhanger Studios, I want to say. And that studio was closed after Black Panther was canceled. So EA is now going to be owned by, I think it's like 90 something percent by Saudi Arabia. Silver Lake and Affinity Partners. I forget which one is the Trump family, but the Trump family is one of those two companies there, and they have like a minority stake of whatever remaining 10% there is. And the deal will close in 2027. There's no shot that this deal won't go through, unlike some of the other deals we'll talk about. But yeah, this is huge for EA. EA was kind of on a roll to an extent in terms of bringing college football back. They did announce, I think, college basketball is coming back in some form as well. Battlefield started really well, and we'll talk about Battlefield's success and immediate failure a little later. But this is a huge thing for EA. It's going to give them a pretty good safety net, but it is leading to a lot of concerns for some of their other parts based on who owns them and what their interest would be in. Like the sports franchises are safe. The other franchises that EA owns are very questionable outside of Battlefield. But a lot of restructuring. EA also did have some tragic stuff happen. The president, the founder of Respawn, died in a car accident, and that was right after he had been promoted to like being in charge of Battlefield, being in charge of Respawn, and then just kind of ushering in a new era of like how they're going to handle shooters. So don't know how everything is going to unfold after that. So Dave, EA being owned by Saudi Arabia, Trump family, and some other equity firms.
Saudi Arabia's got a ton of money. They're the cash kings right now, and they're just using it.
Yeah.
Whether it's WWE, whether it's golf, whatever it is, and they're just there, and they're throwing their money around, and money talks. They got the loudest mouth right now.
Yep. I from your perspective, like the sports games will be fine. Like that is why you make this purchase, because that is kind of what Saudi Arabia has been doing. They've been acquiring a lot of sports leagues in order to like obtain favor, basically, and generate money. But like when it comes to like a Criterion studio, when it comes to like the Marvel game was canceled and other projects, it does seem like an end of an era for EA in terms of we're probably not going to get too many like crazy games outside of just the sports game. And
yeah, we're not going to get like
I feel like
an Unravel huge. Split Fiction. I don't think we're going to see that stuff like that. I mean, we might see the Split Fiction and the It Takes Two studio still do something.
Joseph Fares,
just because of the success of it. But at the same time, it'd be very easy. Any studio, any publisher would pick him up at this point in time if EA's like, hey, we're not going to make your next game.
Yeah, no chance under these owners of Mirror's Edge coming back.
Yeah,
you will not get a new Alice Madness Returns. You're probably not going to even get a Burnout game.
Yeah,
or a Dante's Inferno, something like that. Not that EA was going to go back to that, but they had just rebooted Dead Space and it was successful 2 years prior.
I mean,
and they were already kind of talking about not doing Dead Space 2.
Yeah.
But I think this is the nail in a coffin for like a Dead Space.
That we didn't lose the Captain America Black Panther game, did we?
No. That is Skydance.
That's right.
So that's fine. I don't know if we lost the Iron Man game because EA was also working on an Iron Man game too.
Okay.
So I'm not too sure if that got canceled.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just it had to happen. I'm actually happy that it went private. Like I think that's a huge deal for it to go mostly private.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a little bit of pressure off of them. Again, it will be a thing where I don't think we'll see like the absolute negative effects of the new ownership for a couple years because they're going to want to recoup their money, and the best way to recoup their money is to kind of keep things status quo. But at a certain point, we will see like different changes in terms of like direction and what they do want or they do allow. There has been weird things, so I think it's does SNK own King of Fighters? I think that is.
Yeah, sure.
Dave's like SNK King of Fighters. SNK King of Fighters. That studio was owned by Saudi Arabia, and apparently that fighting game had things where they included different musical artists based on like the leadership over in the public investment funds music tastes that kind of didn't fit the game. So there's like little things like that.
Yeah.
Where,
so
like,
the PIF does.
You might see a little bit of influence.
Yeah, the PIF does own SNK.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So apparently there was things there where they said they were going to be hands off, and there were things where it's like, no, they are a little bit more hands on. I think EA will be safe for the most part for the first couple years of being hands off.
Dude, this guy, this
you can't really mess up college football.
Yeah, this Saudi crown prince owns 96% of SNK Corporation.
Yeah. And about like 8% of Nintendo.
Okay.
Which Nintendo apparently isn't a big fan of, but they're a publicly traded company, so they kind of have no choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a big thing for EA. It gives EA a little bit of a safety net for a couple years, but it is an end of an era in terms of like some of those games that you maybe hope EA would produce again probably will not be coming back.
Yeah, but I could also, but them being
Um,
privately owned though, it's like I could see them potentially selling some of these IPs though to recoup some funds, or there might be some value to them. I don't necessarily think that they're going to go. Before, I feel like if somebody, I don't, I'll just use a stupid broad example, but if like, and I can't even think of one at this point in time because they're all owned by all these other people now. But if Microsoft went to EA at the time and said, "We want to buy the Dead Space franchise from you," yeah, Dante's Inferno, whatever,
Dead Space.
the board would be like, "No," like but now one person or a privately owned board would be like, hey, this is, I don't know what the number is, but this is an easy like $50 million. Like, we're not going to do anything with it anyways. So let's just, it's kind of the sports analogy. Like, you're going to lose this person as a free agent at the end of the season. He's already told you that he or she doesn't want to play on your team next year. Send him away and get something for it, and instead of just letting it sit there and do nothing. So potentially, like from a business standpoint, like, it's an
if
asset.
it's a big enough franchise, I could see that happening.
Right. Or you could see maybe somebody buy 3 or 4 at a time.
Yeah. Depending, especially at a certain point, EA might just shed some of their non-sports studios, which is kind of sounds like they've been leaning to. It sounds like it's like, I forget what the sports studios are even called at this point. I don't know if Tribion is still around.
Yeah, Treyarch.
Oh, Tribion. There we go. Tribion, and then Respawn. That was basically the only 2 franchises, and then you have DICE or studios, and then you have DICE, and then Criterion. But I just, the other studios, the other potential games that they could be doing, I just don't see that anymore.
The thing that's the most intriguing for me is potentially BioWare. Like,
so BioWare could just be killed at this point.
But then like same thing. Like, I think the Mass Effect franchise and the Dragon Age IP, they have value, huge value.
Yes and no, but they don't have value outside of BioWare. So like that would have to be a whole studio.
But I feel like some of that stuff is transitioning though. Like it's changing because like it'll be like from the makers of the team that like you just saw it. Like I just saw it. So like they made an emphasis Wildflight for Highguard. They made an emphasis of like, hey, we did Apex, we did Titanfall. Like they weren't like not allowed to say that. Like, hey, like 25 of us left EA and we all worked on Titanfall and Apex, and now we're making Highguard. So like there's some pedigree and some carry that comes with that of like, this is the guy that ran BioWare, or this was the lead for Mass Effect and he's making his version of Mass Effect. It might not do good, but there is some clout to it.
Yeah, I would worry though if you're a BioWare and the new owners of EA aren't really supporters of some of the things that BioWare likes to include in their games, to where like they just might not care about BioWare enough of just like, hey, you know what? Actually, we don't want like some of these like same-sex relationships in our games. Sort of thing could happen down the line. And then also what I would worry about with some of those games is just like, hey, you know what? There's a Florence and the Machine song in like BioWare 2. And that license will probably have to be renewed at some point. The new owners might not care enough to renew a license for this, and then that means that game will just be delisted and then become lost media. There's little things that can come in, especially when you're talking about like owners that are just stupid rich. Like money means no object. So a company going to them and be like, hey, I'll give you guys $5 million if I can like get this franchise. They would be like, that means nothing to us.
My toilet costs $5 million. Like, what's your point?
Yeah. So it could get weird. I just don't think we're going to see how weird it can get for EA for a couple years.
Right.
Because they're going to want to make EA seem like nothing's changed so they can recoup as much as possible. And so that could be a thing that in if 5 years down the road, we're going to be like, oh, EA is like completely different now. And we just, it's just going to happen overnight, or it's going to be a very gradual thing too. So it can go either way. But all right, Dave, we're not done with weird acquisitions and everything. So right before we left, Ubisoft was pitching that they would get money from Tencent, go private, and then split into 2 companies. That did happen for $1.16 billion. At the time, they said they're going to divide Ubisoft into 2 studios. It turns out they're dividing Ubisoft into 5 houses, is how they're phrasing it. We'll talk about that later. But basically, the Vantage Studios would be in charge of Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six, and the other studios will be in charge of the other games. This is huge for Ubisoft. Ubisoft has had a ton of layoffs since. A lot of canceled games. We'll go into more detail about that later, but this was something that did happen in the second half of last year. And then we just 2 weeks ago got more information on what this actually means for Ubisoft. So we'll touch on this twice, but Dave, we thought this was a crazy idea that Ubisoft was doing before we left, and they did it. They pulled it off.
Yeah, they essentially made a minor league studios and major league studios, in my opinion. And so,
Yeah,
but it's still all under the Tencent umbrella. So this is, I on the surface, so far early on from what we've been hearing, at least unless I've missed something, Tencent doesn't really mess with the studios too much. They kind of, it seems like they let them do their thing, or we're not hearing that Tencent is forcing acceleration or forcing certain directions or anything like that hasn't come out. But who knows? Maybe that's something Schreier's working on right now. If it's going to drop tomorrow, no, my luck.
Well, I would imagine Tencent's input is like put all the important eggs in one basket, and that's what Ubisoft did. Hey, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Rainbow Six, you're now one house, I believe what they're calling them now. You are one house. All the other franchises will fucking figure it out, and then they're just gonna like lay people off and cancel projects for those other houses, and just put all their effort into Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six. But what that means for other studios, we'll talk about later. But yeah, Ubisoft went through some changes, and apparently Ubisoft was like multiple other companies did like test the waters with Ubisoft, but Tencent has kind of had the best deal for the brothers that own Ubisoft in terms of, I believe other companies went to Ubisoft and said, we will buy you, but you guys have to go. And Tencent was the only ones that said, we will fund a majority of you and you get to stay.
Right.
So that's the deal they went with. All right. To continue down the acquisition road, Netflix agreed to buy Warner Brothers Discovery for $82.6 billion. And this was interesting because they did not talk about the video game business at all until a couple days after that announcement, but that includes all the video game franchises and studios. But it didn't seem like Netflix really gave a shit that they acquired that. They were doing this for the Warner Brothers movie studios and television studios. Things got super interesting because Skydance Paramount are currently trying to do a hostile takeover of Warner Brother, and now there's like a weird bidding war, but also Skydance are really good friends with the Trump administration, so they're getting them involved in order to undo the Netflix deal with Warner Brothers. It sounds like the Netflix deal with Warner Brothers will go through despite Skydance Paramount doing whatever they could, but it is going to prolong this and puts Warner Brothers video games in a really weird spot with how you move forward, not knowing if your parent company even cares about you.
You've been bought, but it's not
your parent company.
The cash hasn't come through yet, so you just need to wait until you have a new owner. Well, what do I do till I wait till I have a new owner? You wait until you have a new owner.
Yeah. And we're already talking about Warner Brothers video games. They closed a couple studios. They had really huge success with Hogwarts Legacy and Mortal Kombat, but they had a lot of duds like Suicide Squad. And it sounds like Rocksteady's going back to Batman games.
Yeah, I believe I heard that.
I think.
And there supposedly is another Hogwarts game in production. But to your point, like you said earlier, like what does that mean? Like if the producer on Hogwarts 2 says I need, $10 more million for graphic design, the Warner Brothers is like, I don't know.
Who do I ask? Yeah.
So
like if I okay you getting $10 million more, is this going to throw off the deal
right
that's going to keep us alive in the future, asking for so much money? It is super complicated. Last I heard, Skydance is still trying to sue their way into either getting the government to step in, and the government has a lot of reason for Skydance to do it because Skydance, Paramount, they own CBS, and with this deal, they will own CNN, which means they'll have a news cap market. Basically, this is a big war over the news and video games. Just happens to be caught
Right.
uh, in the middle of it. And Netflix just wants to have all the movie catalog. Netflix just wants to have a shit ton of movies. Netflix actually originally in their deal said they don't want anything to do with the news networks or any of the television
Yeah.
networks. They just wanted the content. And they were hoping to do a deal where they would just sell the news networks or
Yeah.
the other content to someone, which sounds like it would have been Skydance Paramount, but it's just turning into these two big companies that want everything.
Yeah.
Uh,
And to be
Crazy.
fair, like Netflix has been doing a little bit more heavier advertising of the game stuff on their
Mhm.
platform. Like I've been on Netflix a lot the last couple months, and th- before I would be like, Netflix has games, and now when I'm scrolling through Netflix, I'm like, okay, let me get past the games. I'm looking for something.
Yeah, I think they have Red Dead now that you can play. Like
Yeah.
I get advertisements for like random stuff, like Grand Theft
Yeah.
Auto. They have a bunch of stuff. I think my TV can do Bluetooth controller,
Yeah.
so you can actually play like the real game and not just like some weird flash version of it. But yeah, no, this would be huge. Either way, like the biggest fear from Netflix taking over or Skydance Paramount taking over is what would happen to the film industry in terms of Netflix had gone saying they would release some or most movies in theaters still, but for like 15 days, and then they upped it to 45 days.
Yeah.
Paramount said they'd be interested in still producing movies, but also they would probably not be able to produce the same amount of movies that Warner Brothers currently does. So the theater industry could have really it could really be in trouble if this deal goes through either way. I feel bad for James Gunn, who's doing a really good job
Yeah.
with like the DC universe. And like, what does he do? You know, like
Yeah.
he's still going to be doing his thing, but like, can he really plan that far ahead in the future, knowing that
Yeah. That
things can change
That
drastically?
Superman movie came out while we were not recording, I think,
Yes.
and I
Yeah.
enjoyed that. I thought that was
Yeah,
like
it
it was
I
really
thought it was
good.
great.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
That-
Supergirl comes out in a couple months.
Oh, does it?
Can't
Okay.
wait. Yeah, and
Yeah.
they're already shooting Superman 2
Yep.
currently
And
right
are
now. So
they
they're gonna
doing
do. He's trying to get
Masters
this
of
work
Universe
out.
or no?
No, I don't know who's doing Masters of the
Okay.
Universe.
Okay.
That one might be Legendary.
Yeah, that's fine. It just seemed like there's been a little
I
bit
gotta
of
look
a.
that up. No, I gotta look
Yeah.
up. No, I gotta look up.
But yeah, like it's just kind
Jared
of like
Leto's in it.
yeah, it's interesting to see like the dynamic of everything and the consolidation of the market. Like we were talking about this like 2 or 3 years ago. Like like everything kind of consolidating, and with consolidation comes cancellations and layoffs and reductions, and it sucks. But at the same time, it was. You don't want it to go too consolidated, which is the direction it's going right now, but it was way too unconsolidated. So like we've got to find that happy medium, and that'll take a long time.
Yeah, and I think we'll slowly get there. I mean, there's a reason why like Expedition 33 thrived last year, and this could be like the beginning of some of new studios kind of coming out there, new publishers kind of emerging, and that could be beneficial because like all the big studios that are combining right now have been just around forever and maybe too long.
Mm-hmm.
And in the video game industry, we kind of need fresh blood, and we've been kind of getting that here and there. And stuff like Expedition 33 could be very important to building new publishers. Because for a while, it has just been EA, Activision, Ubisoft for like last like 30, 40 years. And we needed to kind of break away from that. And unfortunately, it led to a lot of consolidation and a lot of craziness, but we might be heading in the right direction as these independent studios and publishers find success, especially since these companies seem to be so hell-bent on just gobbling each other up that they aren't producing actual games for people to care about.
Yeah, it really made the PS5 and the Xbox Series generation just kind of boring. Like the games the games are fine, but but everything, like nothing nothing was like amazingly phenomenal. You start listing potential PlayStation games, franchises that games that you think are must plays, and the ones that you probably would rattle off the top of your head were on PS4.
Yeah, I would say this whole generation, Microsoft and PlayStation haven't developed anything groundbreaking
Innovative,
and
yeah.
earth shattering like they used to do.
Hmm.
And to a lesser extent Nintendo as well, though
Yeah,
Nintendo's been kind of an autopilot for a while.
right.
But when it comes to Microsoft and PlayStation, they just have not produced anything this generation that has been like holy shit, innovative, amazing. Like the best thing for PlayStation has been Astrobot,
Hmm.
in my opinion,
Yeah.
and that is not that big of a deal. And then when you come to the Xbox,
There's
no, no,
not much. Yeah, I mean,
nothing.
there's yeah,
A lot of solid things, but just not
yeah,
anything crazy. They have not had a Gears of War or a Halo like game since the 360 generation, you know?
yeah. I would
Uh,
potentially argue the best thing that was on Series X might have been Indiana Jones,
yeah, but even then, that wasn't it wasn't
but it wasn't a
a
new
needle
and
mover.
innovative thing. Like I mean, just like as I'm,
Yeah,
but then again, that also came to PlayStation, and it was even like weird, like not weird, but like the developer, their version, their developer direct, like everything that, and this is just the direction they've gone. We talked about this before, but everything that Microsoft showed in that developer direct in January, Fable looks amazing. But I'm pretty sure they said Fable's coming to PlayStation. So,
yes,
um,
they did, and
yeah,
I believe it should be day one. I
yeah.
want to say that might
So,
be a day one.
not that that means anything. If Fable's a great game, Microsoft's going to get credit for it, and if it means that it does better on PlayStation, like who cares? Like they're getting a a thing, but they're getting credit for it. But it's just kind of it's just weird. Like everything just feels a little different. That's all.
Yeah, yeah, it just feels different, and nothing feels
Well,
exceptional anymore. And I think
yeah,
when we look back in a couple years, we'll look back at the PS5 generation as like a stopgap generation, as
yeah,
a filler generation,
a bridge.
and that's kind of a shame. Yeah,
Yeah.
at least we hope so.
Yeah,
Hopefully, the
PS5
PS6.
was made so that PS6 could run, like could sprint or something.
Yeah,
Like I don't know, be like the old saying,
in
the
in
PS5 learned how
wrestling,
to walk so that PS6 could run.
in wrestling, it's called a transitional champion. Sometimes you
Yeah,
have a really big baby face that has a title, and you have no idea how to give it to the next big baby face.
yeah.
So you put someone in the middle who just kind of holds on to the title for
Well,
like a week or two.
and the change
Uh,
being inevitable is the thing that gets weird, and that leads to your next bullet point that you have on here.
yeah. Okay, so Call of Duty Black Ops 7 failed so bad. Call of Duty will no longer release Black Ops and Modern Warfare games back to back. So what this it just doesn't mean they're not going to do yearly games, but they are now going to take more time before they released a Black Ops game or a Modern Warfare game. So the if you weren't following, Black Ops 7 has performed horribly. I'll just jump to this one story that I have for later to now, but according to Circana, the North American like sales tracker, Battlefield outsold Call of Duty last year, and that is a first for the Battlefield franchise. Call of Duty ranked fifth overall in North American sales last year, its lowest place ever, being outsold by Battlefield 6, which was number one, NBA 2K26, Borderlands 4, Monster Hunter Wilds in that order. Uh, this isn't all that great for Battlefield because Battlefield has lost roughly 87% of its player base since launch as of a couple weeks ago. So Battlefield had the opportunity of a lifetime. They ran with it for a good month or two, but it just completely fell flat on them. But Dave, what do you want to say about Call of Duty just having to kind of
Yes,
say that they messed up?
it's been 7 months, but you're still gonna hear me say the same word. Like Game Pass still exists. So like, and I did some quick googling. So like, did Microsoft achieve their sub goal for with Black Ops? The sub goal was achieved based on what I'm reading here, but it wasn't enough. It was a $300 million loss in sales for Black Ops 6, which then led Microsoft to change the tiers of Game Pass, which we saw like about 6-7 months ago. And like what everybody's been talking about, there's this rent model. They'll play like what we thought about, what we refer to as the Call of Duty Bro, plays it November, December, and January, cancels their Game Pass subscription. You could argue either way that they spend almost the same amount of money, but the hope is that they would have stayed on Game Pass and they didn't. So 2 months, 60 days, 90 days, $20, $40, $60, whatever you want to call it. That happened, which caused them to increase their price hikes. However, 82% of the sales still came from the PlayStation family. So it did not move people to Xbox like some thought it might, where somebody was like, "I'll go get a Series, I'll get Game Pass, and that'll be my Call of Duty machine." Those didn't happen, which led into the different tiers. So it's
Yeah.
it's a different
And
model.
the
So,
PlayStation numbers, but also the PlayStation numbers were lower than the previous PlayStation numbers for previous Call of Duty games, which is why they lost
yeah,
significantly
we
on
knew
there
this was coming
because
though. Like there was a certain point in
just
time
not
where
this fast.
not this fast, but yeah, but sometimes like how many years in a row are they going to be the best selling game? Like how many years can you do it? Really, like 10, 12? Like how many? Like
But the thing that it made it seem quick is like the quality of this game was just horrible. And then also it happened, it like usually Call of Duty games, if they had middling reviews
yeah.
to like good, it doesn't affect the sales at all. But this is the first year that like the reviews and the sales actually lined up like pretty accurately, and that's scary for Call of Duty. I mean, just looking at like some of the Black Ops 7 stuff, it was terrible.
Yeah.
uh and it made them scared of like, oh shit, outside of Modern Warfare, Black Ops is our best subtitle that we have, and we can't damage it anymore.
And I hate to say this because it hurts my soul to say this, but Bobby Kotick was the smartest man in the room when he did what he did. Like he saw,
Oh yeah, no,
he
yeah,
knew. Or he
he
knew when he
he
had
knew
been
how quick
pushing
it was
on
going to
it.
be.
Yeah, and he knew what was going on. He knew what he had been doing to his studios and stuff like that. So he saw it. He's an ass. um, but smart ass business person, man. Like he's like
Yeah, no, he knew that he was basically like, hey, this is a burning building, I need to get out of it. And it just led to just this Call of Duty thing to where it generally makes Microsoft seem like the most or people, Xbox specifically, like the most incompetent like publisher, owner, whatever you want to say, because it has just been kind of failure after failure of these acquisitions. And the crazy thing is, like, so like Game Pass did crater, and a lot of their projects just didn't move the needle for Game Pass, and their total revenue was still propped up by Call of Duty, just not to where it needed to be. I don't know if you saw, Dave, but it came out that there won't be an Outer Worlds 3 because Outer Worlds 2 sold so bad and didn't bring in sub numbers that they just aren't going to pursue that as a franchise anymore, because it didn't even sell well on PlayStation.
which
Or
leads to the
PC.
is it because it's like that's the problem that we'll never know is like did Game Pass cause did Microsoft's money help make Outer Worlds 2 a thing when it really which apparently it didn't need to be a thing. Um,
Yeah.
was one game enough, and did it warrant a sequel, or did Game Pass cripple it enough that it made it to where a third version isn't viable? Like it's there's too many variables. It's too hard to answer that question.
Yeah. And the thing like we don't know is just like, okay, did Outer Worlds bump Game Pass up enough that they assumed that that bump was going to happen again, or did the people that subscribed for Outer Worlds 1, did they actually just continue their sub,
Right.
through Outer Worlds 2? And then Microsoft's been just looking for that number to jump up, and it
Yeah.
just didn't. We just don't know.
Yeah, and this isn't
And we never will.
uncommon. Yeah, we never. This isn't uncommon. Um, we see this. I don't have data to support it, but I guarantee you Netflix saw an increase of their subscriptions in December when they had two NFL games on their Christmas Day, and then they saw a decrease
Mhm.
in January because somebody wanted to watch the football game, or Stranger Things. There's no way like there's like some of those people like they Stranger Things is back. Okay, cool. They watch it for however long it took. This is Stranger Things has been my understanding is that I've never watched a single thing of it, but it's been drawn out more because they need to hold on to their subs. There's
Yeah.
definitely some
No,
strategy to it, and but I'm sure that when it's done, you're gonna see an exodus. Like if there was ever like you walk into Netflix's offices, which probably don't exist anymore, like in like the way that I'm thinking of them. But if there's like a graph on the wall of like users, like the Thursday after Stranger Things debuts and it's gone that weekend, I'm sure you saw like a decline
no,
of,
no, 100%.
of
You had to see
subscribers.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, this Netflix, when they had wrestling, they saw like a huge record number of like live viewers for the first
Yeah.
episode, and then that number drastically went
Yep.
down the weeks following. And apparently, they won't say the numbers, but like insiders are like, "Oh yeah, the numbers for wrestling are not good anymore,"
Yeah.
because you know. But they're always looking for that pop, and Microsoft was kind of banking on their studios being able to produce this pop, and unfortunately, either
It
due to
needs to be pop,
management,
pop, pop, pop,
budget,
pop, pop,
or
pop, 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 pop,
yeah,
and it's not. So
yeah, and then the stuff they were releasing has been like good double A stuff, but it hasn't. The thing we were just talking about with this
yeah.
generation and
Yeah.
overall, it just hasn't been anything innovative or exceptional. It's just been stuff that you're like, it was good,
Uh-huh.
but nothing that I'm like, Dave, you need to play Indiana
Yeah.
Jones. Dave, you need to play Avowed. That just hasn't been there. And in their future lineup with like Forza and Fable, I don't see those being
Yeah.
like huge
When I
things where
saw
I'm like, Dave, you need to get
Fable,
Game Pass.
it looked cool, and I like the combat looked interesting. But then it started doing the thing of where like you can be a landlord and you can hire people and they can work for you. I'm like, I'm out. I was like,
It fabled. It fabled. Yeah,
yeah,
it showed that it was still Fable.
yeah, which is fine, but it's just not
Yeah, yeah.
me. Like,
And that's the thing is like, this may sound, like they want you, Dave,
yep,
because you're a live service sort of
yep,
gamer. You like those type of experiences, and they, need to get that like they got me because they did like Expedition 33, Avowed,
mm-hmm,
Hellblade. They
yep,
had me on those, but they need something that like will get like the live service gamers, the people that like want like these big epic experiences. They want and need those people, but they just aren't producing the content to do that. Fable is a game that says I will play it completely, but that does not translate to everybody. So I that's a whole thing. We will probably talk about
yeah,
Xbox in the future a lot, because this is going to be. This feels like there's rumors that they are going to release a new console in 2027. Though I have a news report that says that might not happen. But like, man, does it feel like their next generation is like their last real attempt at like not just a console, but just in general as like an idea at Microsoft, because Xbox cannot put 3 failed generations in a row.
yeah. I
Uh,
just think it's gonna be like, I feel like whatever this console is gonna be. I mean, they're gonna release a box because they have to, but this thing's gonna be like a freaking puck that you stick into the back of your TV.
which is fine, but like
Yeah.
they're going to need software to
Yep.
just
100%.
show
And
that this is
circling
a
back
good
to your
thing.
point, like you can go back to Video Game Awards, you can go back to 2025, like you were talking about. Like, um, I would say that the only must play game from 2025 probably is Expedition 33, and I played it for about 2 or 3
Mm-hmm.
hours, but nothing happened yet in there that grabbed me enough. And obviously, the stuff that's going on with Angela affected my my routines. But it did have enough of an impact on my son, my oldest son, when I saw him at Christmas. He was like, he's like, hey, so is this Expedition 33 game any good? I was like, I've heard really good things. I played it for a little bit. It was on Game Pass for me. And he goes, because like he said it, as him as a school teacher now, as an adult father with a 1-year-old child, he's like, it cleaned up at the Game Awards, so it has to be something I should look at, right? And I'm like, well, you can look at
Yeah,
it. We found it on sale on PlayStation. I don't know if he's played it yet. I bought it on the account, and
but it
so
crossed over.
yeah,
Like,
it got into his area, like where he's
mhm.
so focused on his family, his job as a teacher, and soccer. He enjoys soccer, that it definitely broke through his layers of stuff where he's like, what is this? And I'm like, it might not be your thing,
Yeah,
but he enjoys like Ghost of Tsushima and Ghost of Yoti or Yotai or whatever. Those kind of games. He's a very very casual gamer when he has time, and he's focuses on one game at a time. And so when we bought Expedition 33, he's like, yeah, I'll get to it when I finish Ghost 2. I'm like, okay. He's not going to just jump and
yeah.
play it. So that's kind of where I feel like the majority of the video game players are now. I can't play 2, 3, 4 games like I used to years ago. I can't do it anymore. It's simultaneously.
Oh
I
yeah,
can,
I'm
yeah.
struggling. I'm struggling right now to play New Vegas and Yotai, and then squeezing in Rivals.
Yeah.
Before that would be no problem with me.
Right.
Now it's like, oh man, I can only choose one a night, maybe
Yep.
one every couple days. But that's where it goes. And the last thing that happened last year is GTA 6 was delayed till November 2026. It might be delayed again, but there's also a chance that they will not do a physical release of this game this year. because they're worried about spoilers for the story. They seem to be really worried about how to mitigate the story being spoiled. I still think that the story is going to release first and multiplayer will release later,
Yep.
because they still have not given a blueprint or a roadmap on what to do for
The
Grand Theft Auto
transition.
Online.
Yeah.
And yeah. But yeah, November 2026, Grand Theft Auto 6. We'll see if that actually
It
happens.
would be a boss move for Rockstar, and they're one of the only companies that they can pull it off of. Like, hey, the first 6 months is digital only. Like
Yeah,
in terms like to protect the production and to say all the stuff and them being in November right now has huge huge studios like just shaking because like
we saw a lot of studios get out of the way
yep
twice already
yep.
for the last fall and then March of this year.
I mean, I'm not a
Eh,
GTA guy, and I might have to play this game just because it'll probably be the thing in November. Like, that's gonna be like, I don't know if it's gonna like to the point where it'll affect my business, but the people that come into my store are predominantly middle-aged men, and
Yeah,
is GTA gonna be like, why are we so slow today? Oh, it's GTA Day.
but it probably will be. But the
Yeah,
question is, will it be a weekend? Will it
you're
be a
right.
day? Will it be
Yep.
like a month? We don't know where it's going to land. But Dave, that catches us up with 2025. We have two news stories that we'll cover before we finish.
Okay.
The first one is details about the Ubisoft stuff.
Ugh.
So, Ubisoft, after their restructuring that we had mentioned earlier, basically announced that they have canceled 6 games and closed 2 studios, as well as delayed 7 games. Uh, the only named game that was canceled is the remake of Sands of Time, so the Prince of Persia game. That one was canceled. Apparently, people at the studio and some of the voice actors that were working on the game didn't find out until they saw the news story pop up from, I think, it was either Jason Schreier or Jeff Grubb. So they found out when it hit like the major news websites, which is just crazy. Halifax and Stockholm were the studios closed, and there's an additional 200 layoffs that will be happening at Ubisoft HQ. They did announce what they're doing with all their studios. So Ubisoft will be divided into 5 houses, which is such a weird way to
Yeah.
phrase things. Um, and basically, these houses will contain certain franchises and studios that work on those franchises. So Vantage Studios, we talked about, is the one that's going to be Far Cry, Rainbow Six, and Assassin's Creed. House 2, which House 2, 3, 4, and 5 do not have names yet. House 2 will be dedicated to competitive and cooperative games, not Rainbow Six, though. And they're in charge of the Division, Ghost Recon, and Splinter Cell franchises. House 3 will operate live experiences such as For Honor, The Crew, Riders Republic, Brawlhalla, and Skull and Bones was included, which I think is cute. House 4 will be fantasy world narrative driven games. So like Anno, Might and Magic, Rayman, Prince of Persia, Beyond Good and Evil. Beyond Good and Evil apparently is still in development. They wanted to make that clear, which is crazy. That
But
they
in
were
their
still
but in
developing
their
that.
fourth house, by the way, the fourth
Their
house.
fourth house, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
That doesn't even have a name yet.
yeah.
And then House 5 will be dedicated to casual games such as Just Dance, Uno, and like their Hasbro licensed games like Monopoly. But this is the future of Ubisoft. I feel like these companies not having a name and also missing certain things just makes it easier for them to shutter stuff when it comes time to
Yeah,
shuttering
yes
stuff.
and no. They have kind of gone to that Ubisoft Montreal, Ubisoft Toronto, Ubisoft, France model where these weren't like named studios. I think like Massive was like the last one that was like a
Yeah.
named studio. Like so it was always interesting with that. I think it's really interesting that like a game like full disclosure, I love the Division 1 and 2. I enjoyed them thoroughly. The Division 3, I believe, is still in active development. I don't know where we heard that Heartland was canceled. I think that mobile game is out. um, but I haven't really heard much
That
about it.
might have been canceled. I think it was out in beta but canceled.
Yeah.
I wanna
So
say,
I
but
do know
don't
that Division 3 is in active development. And if this is Ubisoft's way of tiering their game studios or their game franchises, selfishly, I would argue that the Division should be in a tier 1, in House 1. And I would almost put Far Cry at this point. And maybe I know Far Cry sells and it moves units, but it's been so long. But at the same time, it's
Mhm.
been very long for the Division. I understand that. But they are still, at least the Division is live service and they're constantly updating. They just brought some kind of survival mode to it. However, I also know, and I don't know if you saw this. I don't know if this has anything to do with the car accident for Battlefield developer, the head of the studio.
Vincent Pella.
But yeah, Vincent Pella. I'm sorry, Julian Garrity, who had been working on the Division franchise and on, I believe, Star Wars Outlaws. He has left Massive. He has left Ubisoft, and he is going to Battlefield.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense that they would have to restructure because they did make Respawn and Battlefield, Dice, all that stuff. Like they had a game plan that they were doing.
So Julian Garrity was the heartbeat of the Division franchise, and as you're going into your third game, which is arguably your creme de la creme, like where these games like really hit their sweet spot. Like, oh, the first one is a cool idea and it worked well. Oh, the second one is an innovative move on the first one, and the third one is we know what the hell we're doing and here's our stride.
Yeah,
that would be very interesting, but they are still saying that Division 3 is still actively in development. They are hiring people for it. They are doing all that stuff, but we have not seen anything like logos or trailers or teaser trailers or nothing about it. So it'll be really interesting to see where they're at with that. And where is Far Cry 8?
I would hope they're taking their time after the last.
I would agree. I mean, they just did a 60 FPS upgrade to Far Cry 3.
Yeah, I saw that. That seems so random.
Yep. Well, they got to get something out there, I guess. Like
this whole thing though does seem like the way they structure things is to make sure that they protect at all costs Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six by separating them. Because I would argue, like, if you're at, let me pull it, House 2 and you are the live service game and you're like, but we have Splinter Cell, Ghost Recon Division, but we don't have Rainbow Six, that would cause me to pause a little bit. I think
Rainbow Six has earned, that team has earned their own table, their own desk.
Yeah, it did. But like, if you're talking about like studios that are now going to be dedicated to this type of game, and then the main type of game at your company's like off in its own thing,
Rainbow Six should just be in its own house.
Like, but I would say Assassin's Creed should be as well.
But I feel like layering Far Cry with Assassin's Creed, like, to your point, it doesn't make sense. You're going to call House 2 competitive and cooperative shooters, but Rainbow Six isn't on there. Rainbow Six is the #1 esport game, I believe. It's top 5.
It's hard to tell. Yeah, top 5 for sure. But then you look at like the fantasy worlds, House 4. It's like you'd be like, oh, we should have Assassin's Creed, shouldn't we? But it's like, no, they want to make sure they keep those safe so they can experiment with the other houses or the other creative houses, whatever they're calling them, and kind of hopefully this will lead to less of the thing where a lot of Ubisoft games kind of fucking felt the same because you had 26 studios and they all touched the same game. The Ubisoft credits were always comically long because it'd be like, oh, Ubisoft Shanghai, Ubisoft Stockholm, Ubisoft Toronto, Ubisoft Montreal all touched the same game. This means that maybe some of these games can have their own identity as opposed to feeling cookie cutter by separating them. So hopefully there wouldn't be that much cross-pollination going on with this, so stuff can be actually siloed off. It just seems like if you're in some of these other creative houses, you have to know like your stuff has to knock the shit out of the ballpark because of how you don't have like a big franchise to lean on. Like the Division is the big, the big franchise with Ghost Recon and Splinter Cell. But like if the Division fumbles, Ghost Recon and Splinter Cell have to step up. And they might not be able to. So then at that point, would they just shutter?
Right.
Would they get eaten up by one of the other creative houses? The only creative house that has any chance of like fully surviving is probably the Casual house.
Yeah.
With Just Dance, Uno, and Hasbro. The other houses are kind of going to have to like fight for survival and hope there's enough money to go around. That would be my take on that. My fear for those studios.
For sure.
But hey, you know what? Fuck it. Ubisoft has a plan. It's the first time I can say that in like who knows how many years.
Yeah, but Ubisoft needs to release a game.
Yes, they need to, but they've never had a plan to actually release a game. But it just sucks though because apparently the next big game coming out of Ubisoft is a remake of Black Flag, Assassin's Creed 4.
But is it? Like we don't know that.
Apparently that is being made, but it might be far out. But the fact that might be the next big game is just like, are you really need to buy more time before you release something big.
Yeah.
But that's where Ubisoft is at currently. Hopefully, the Division comes along because I don't know. I never beat a Division game, but I do enjoy the first like 12 hours of them.
Yeah, yeah.
So
But
hopefully
there's
they
also
can do
kind of one of
something
those
with
things you
that.
don't really beat those games, so it's like it's weird.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And I think that's why I only get like 12 hours
yeah,
into
yeah.
it,
You're
and
like,
it's
all
like,
right,
oh,
I've
I
had
want to do more
enough.
of this.
This is normally when I'm done, and oh, you want me to go do the third mission again? No, I'm good. So it's get it. I get it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, Dave said that the good end game content is in Q2. Oh no, I'm okay,
Yeah.
man. I'm okay.
It
I'm
still
okay.
rings in my head sometimes of where like when the Division 1 came out and they're like, oh, we have stuff and things planned. What the hell did you say?
Yeah, stuff and things. But you know what? But they did accomplish those
yeah,
goals, and they
yeah.
did that well, I guess. So there's that. And then our last news story: plans for next gen consoles likely happening later than expected, according to multiple news sources outlets. Microsoft and PlayStation's plan to release consoles in 2027 and 2028, but that's likely not happening due to political and economic reasons. But the main thing is a tech shortage, specifically with RAM
Ram's
prices
fucking
surging.
expensive.
Yes, so RAM prices are currently surging due to the AI surge slash bubble. I know some people get sensitive when you say AI bubble, but technically it is a bubble. I don't mean
Yeah,
it's going to explode into a horribleness, but it
yeah,
is going to drop at some point. Currently, RAM manufacturers just aren't able to keep up with the demand, so RAM prices have gone crazy, and we've also seen that start to affect stuff like storage. Like getting an SSD is really hard
yeah.
because a lot of these manufacturers are just not producing that anymore because they are producing RAM. So this is something that Microsoft and Sony are having to hope will get fixed by 2027, 2028. But there is apparently plans already in place that 2030 is like when they will probably have to launch things because it will take a couple years for manufacturers to straighten out or for AI to kind of figure out what it's going to be doing. So we might have an extended stay with that.
Ugh.
2027, 2028 would mean the PlayStation would be around 7 or 8 years, which, or the PS5 would have been 7 or 8 years, which is
Yeah.
kind of standard
Yeah,
for a
the
generation.
10-year life cycle of gaming usually has been the rule, with around 75 to 80% of the lifespan is when the next thing comes.
Yes. So this might be the first time we hit like a full 10-year cycle before the new hardware comes out, but it is going to kind of be all over the place. Um, the only thing that I'm worried about is they're going to lock the hardware. You know, usually lock the hardware like maybe 2 to 3 years before it actually releases. I worry they're going to lock the hardware like in 2025, or they already locked the hardware in 2025 with plans to release in 27,
Yeah.
28. But I worry that they're going to lock the hardware in 25 and then have to wait 5 years to release, which means everything's just going to feel way older by the
Yep.
time it actually comes out.
And then I'm worried that this console might cost $1,000.
Yeah, yeah. If prices don't go down,
Yeah.
but even if prices don't go down, like this is the big thing, like that bothers me about like current politics stuff in terms of just like, oh, prices will go down eventually. If companies get us used to paying high prices now, they will have no
Yeah.
incentive to just drop prices later.
Without
We
going
will
into
just get
full detail, I
used.
can attest that we have increased prices. Things, political reasonings of things coming across water have subsided. That's the only word I'll use right now, is subsided. And
Yeah,
those prices have, like, the prices will not go back down
exactly.
unless you see a major drop in sales, and something new and shiny is not going to cause a major drop in sales. So
yeah, and right now the console manufacturers, I mean, it costs like $600 to get like a
yeah,
base PlayStation. It's like 750 for a PlayStation Pro. If people are going to continue to buy consoles at those numbers, which they're not buying them as much, but it
yeah,
shows that there's a good chunk of people that are willing to do it, then there's no incentive for prices to come back down to $400 for a
yeah.
launch console.
I mean, super round
And
numbers. If a car jack cost $120 before administrative tariff crap became a thing this year, and and then the jack became $180, and you saw a 5% decline in sales of the jack with a more than 5% increase in price. It's kind of a wash. So why
yeah,
would you reduce the price? just to
And
make somebody happy. That businesses don't do that.
no, yeah. And you'll just have to deal with it, especially when you get down to like essential items to where you're just like, well, fuck, I have to buy this anyways. You know,
Yeah,
you will need a car jack if you have a car. So you're
yeah.
just like, well, shit, I'm buying this
Or
anyways.
controllers. Look at controllers right
Yeah.
now. They're like $85.
Dude, I'm gonna buy my next controller when it breaks. I'm
Yeah.
buying the fucking Elite
Yeah,
controller
I've
because
been looking at
I
different
just can't.
controllers because I'm trying to find something that's like easy to switch between like my ROG and my Xbox and my PC down here. Um, and I'm just like I'm looking and I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, some Victrix thing is probably gonna end up being some Victrix thing. Like I look at
They
a
made $200 controllers seem affordable because
yeah,
it's like,
and
well,
I'm
if I
just
have to
like
break two $80 controllers,
I'm gonna get a DualSense for $85 in blue. And I'm
yeah,
gonna play and have a stick drift problem in 6 months and have to buy another one, and that's $175. Or I can spend $200 on this controller that if something crazy happens, I can buy a $20 part for it and switch it out.
yeah, no, and that's where I'm at. Where
Yeah.
I'm like, if my 30th anniversary controller breaks, I'm
Yep.
like, no, I'm buying a new $200 controller.
Yeah.
But like that's what's going to happen. It's just like, and especially like it sounds silly saying video games are essential, but there's a lot of people that
Yeah.
have made video games their fucking life.
As he
And
rolls away and
they,
shows his own back
yeah,
wall. Yeah.
they will consider a video game console essential to like their happiness, so they will be willing to throw $1,000 down on a console.
Oh,
I
it's
have
still.
enough of
I
a
mean,
backlog
everything that
I
I've been
probably
going on.
won't do that.
Yeah, everything I've had going on with Angela, like she's home, like up until this week coming up, she's been home all the time. Like I love my wife, and she's going through some stuff, but she's been home every day. And there are
That
some days that
the TCL TV doesn't look as good.
yeah, there are
for a
some
while.
there are some days where I'm like, I just want to come home, and and she gives me my time. I'm not saying she doesn't give me my time, but I feel bad sometimes of like she's not doing well or she's not feeling well, and I need to be there for her. I can't just come downstairs and hang out with the boys for 4 hours and play video games, versus before it would be like a random Wednesday that in the middle of the day I could just come down here and veg out for a little bit and really get into a game or not get into a game. Those things, but even as a stress relief, like just everybody has their thing, whether it's gambling, sports gambling, playing cards, going to the bar, playing golf, whatever it is, pickleball, whatever it is you do, like you have your I'm not working, I'm not a dad for the next hour or whatever, and those things are essentials. Like people can scoff at people dropping $700 on a console, but I know for a fact that I've got some friends that have spent $700 on a golf club.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. And at a certain point, especially in like our current world, where kind of you turn on the news or go on social media and everything just fucking sucks.
Yeah.
You will look to your escapisms a little bit more and consider
We're
that
just
essential.
Angela
at
and
a
I are
certain
watching
point.
like late 90s, early 2000s shows on Netflix just cuz.
Yeah.
Like,
No, but then at a certain point you're just like, you know what, I need the subscription service because if I
Yeah.
don't have it,
Yep.
like I can't turn on regular TV because it's just all news and reality TV. It's like shit. Okay,
yeah.
and these console manufacturers know that, so they know like, you know what, we have 40% of our base is
Yeah.
fucking in it no matter what. So
The
we can charge
the
you whatever
internet
we
was
want.
abuzz last week when Fallout show ended season 2, and somehow some rumor started, and I don't know where it came from or if it had legs. I didn't look into it, but Fallout 3 remastered was gonna shadow drop
Yeah.
after season 2 ended, and it didn't happen, and people were disappointed. And I'm like, wait a minute, did anybody say it was actually gonna happen?
So the funny thing is about that is Amazon put a website that had a Fallout countdown timer to after the episode dropped, which was like, people were like, why would it drop after? Why would the countdown go to 0
Yeah.
after the episode?
Because
It
they're
must be a
announcing the
shadow
3
drop.
release date or whatever, the season 3
Yeah.
release date, not Fallout. Yeah, because Amazon's
it-
going to
even
announce a
worse.
Ubisoft, or I'm sorry,
Exactly,
Amazon's going to announce a
Bethesda.
Microsoft game. Yeah, that's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And it turned out to just be a virtual tour of the set.
Yeah.
Like, which is like even funner. Like, I'm sure Bethesda had no control over that, or Microsoft had
Yeah.
no control over that. But they probably had a discussion of just like, do you really have to do this? And they're like, yeah, we already paid like whoever's doing
Yeah.
this to do it. But like, the next Elder Scrolls game, the next Fallout game comes out, and if it's only going to be on next gen hardware or a fucking PC, which now it's funny because people would argue like, oh, console sales or consoles are so expensive, might as well just build your own PC.
Yeah,
But now RAM's like $500.
right. But I would also make the case based on what you're telling us here, like what you're reading about this next gen consoles. Like, let's use Interstellar. Is it Interstellar? Naughty Dog's new game.
Intergalactic.
Intergalactic. I'm sorry. Let's use Intergalactic as an example. If that was planned for 2028, and it was potentially planned for PS6,
Yeah.
or cross, like the PS5 PS6 thing, how is it impacting development if PS6 isn't going to exist? Does it have an impact on it? It has some kind of impact on it. But it's interesting to see, like, if they start, like, usually what we've heard is they start at PS6 and then they scale down. But now if there's really even nothing to scale down to, like, now you're just making it to PS5, like when Uncharted 3, I think it was, like, pushed PS3 to like the max. Like, Naughty Dog came out and said we couldn't squeeze another particle into that game. Like, we couldn't.
Too much sand.
Yeah. So, and so what is going to happen that could affect the game development when they thought,
do you continue developing?
Yeah,
on
Elder
that hardware
Scrolls
that might not come
is
out?
does Elder Scrolls 6 run on a Series X? Does it?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Do you have to throw stuff out of just like, don't worry, it was going to be a subpar experience on a Series X, but it was going to be amazing on a next thing.
But the next thing's not going to be out until the third expansion's out.
Yeah. And then if it but if it is delayed 2 or 3 years, at that point, do you even bother remastering? Because at that point, it's just like no one's going to want to play this 3 years later, especially like.
And they got crucified for it. They've been getting crucified for other things, but Bungie always gets crucified for it. I'm not trying to make it about Destiny, but
I was going to include a whole marathon.
Oh God, it's bad. But when now Marathon's release date might be affecting Destiny's cadence of releasing, and people are like, is it because they want you to play Marathon? And like, oh my God, yeah. Anyway, but all the way back to when Destiny 1 was running on PS3, and they released Taken King. People forget Taken King was on PS3 still. Rise of Iron, they had to, that's when in the middle of a cycle, they got so much crap for this, but in the middle of a Destiny, like it wasn't Destiny 2 at the time yet, they got so much crap because they had to drop PS3. It's still on a YouTube channel of whatever PS Nation's YouTube is called now. It's still on that YouTube channel. You can find it. If you search Dave interviews Eric Osborne, I point blank asked him why, and he goes, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't fit. He's like, we couldn't do it. Because I'm like, what happened to PS3? He's like, not compatible with the RAM. Like, he was just like, it couldn't happen.
Ran out of memory.
Yeah, he's like, it couldn't happen. And I was just like, it was one of the most honest answers that I think that and he was just like, nope.
Well, I mean, you think back to that era. Remember when Uncharted 3 came out? I think there was a firmware update to loosen up some of the RAM resources that the OS used.
What did Skyrim do? Didn't Skyrim run better on Xbox? Because as you got like 20 or 30 hours into Skyrim, it did something to PS3 where it couldn't like keep the save file.
The save file would get too big. Yeah, the save file just kept growing because of how it managed data. Which they were able to fix that eventually, but they had to like bring in people from like other PlayStation studios.
Why is my PS3 shaking across my entertainment center? That's because it's trying to save your game.
But when it comes to like Intergalactic, at a certain point, it's just like, do we develop for a console that we don't know when it's coming out, or if it does come out, it's going to be 4 years later?
Yeah, but then does Naughty Dog miss the entire generation?
Yes, potentially.
Like I'm just like, yes, they put Last of Us Part 2 on PS5. They put Part 1 on PS5, but it came out on PS4. Like they have not released a new PS3. They have not released not Part 2. They have not released they have not released a new IP, a new game on PS5.
Yeah.
Insomniac's released like 4.
Yeah, Wolverine's coming out this year, I think. Yeah.
So it's just, I'm not trying to like rip. So we got the creme de la creme, Naughty Dog, not releasing on a generation, and we got Microsoft not releasing anything cool in an entire box generation. Like.
Well, it's funny though, because like,
and EA got bought by a Saudi prince. Like, what dimension are we living in?
We took too long off, Dave.
Yeah,
like shit got weird. we don't know what's going on. And then like, man, I wanted to put like a whole. We're already at an hour 20
Yeah.
minutes. If I would have put the marathon stuff in here, it would have taken forever because it's a
And for the
side
record, I've had this question asked to me a handful of times. Am I going to play Marathon? Yes. You want to know why? Here's why. Two reasons. One, it's a Destiny, or it's a Bungie shooting game, and I enjoy it. I enjoy how they make for FPS. Period. Two, I've wasted way more than $40 on worse stuff. Like,
Yeah, no, yeah, 100%, 100%.
So if I spend $40 on this game and I play it for a week, I've spent money on other things and never played it for a day. So more
Dave,
than
I think
$40.
you took your whole family to go see a Transformers movie like
Yeah.
the last couple years ago, so you spend more than 40 on that experience.
Yeah. So
So
I'm just like,
you'll be
okay, like as long as I have, if the game is relatively fun and I have people to play it with, I will get my value out of it.
You know what? Like, and I respect that.
Yeah.
What I don't respect is Bungie right now with how
Yeah.
they're handling Marathon.
But okay,
and
but I guess ultimately to spin it back, are you going to play it? Are you going to play the beta at least? That's coming out supposedly soon.
well, I did play the original alpha.
Yeah.
I played both
Yeah, but that's like
alphas,
supposedly like a
and-
whole different game now.
I mean, yeah, the art will be like original this time. I'm interested to see what original art out of Dust, because I used to like Bungie art, and then
Yeah,
they
yeah.
decided not to make it anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, I look forward.
No,
to
they wanted to
whatever-
make it. They just fired the people that make it.
Yeah. I look forward to whatever AI generated slop that they had to produce in the 6 months after
Yeah.
removing all the art assets that they had to remove. I will, man. I don't know. I've spent $40 on worse shit.
Yeah.
In this economy, though, I don't know, man. I would
Dude,
probably have to wait for.
I spent more than $40 when Ansel and I went to Noodles and Company today for lunch.
We can't do my whole sandwich mini game
because
thing
the sandwich is like $25 now.
Yeah. So like, God, man, it sucks. We're old because we're gonna complain about this now.
No, it's fine. It's
No. We're gonna complain about sandwich prices. Sandwiches are too goddamn expensive. I just don't.
Still almost cheaper to buy them than to make them yourself at home. Like it's almost,
At this point, yes, yeah. Especially then bread goes bad, then
Yeah.
everything seems to expire faster. It's like shit. It's better off just ordering. I don't know. I will probably. So my worry is I would probably wait to hear from you.
yeah.
Like you and Johnny will probably
Yeah.
play it, and then I'll see you guys play, and then I'll be like, okay, that looks fun.
Yeah, I don't know
But
the
my
extent
fear
of
is
it. Yeah, Johnny's Discord thing has got a Marathon logo. I know he's doing some stuff. I'm not going to violate any of it. He hasn't told me anything. I'm not going to violate any of his NDAs or any of that stuff. But he's in the test server stuff, and he's like, I'm like,
Technically, I think I still am. I got
yeah, but to where he's been playing. I think he's been playing within like the last 6 weeks or 4 weeks or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he's just kind of like, when you talk to him, like, hey, am I going to enjoy it? Similar. I ask him similar questions I ask you, and he's like, if you have people to play with, sure, you'll be fine.
Well, and my fear is I will need to wait the first weekend
Yep.
to see if you guys actually enjoy it.
Yep.
But then I worry it'll be like, all right, guys, I picked it up, and it's like, yeah, we're done. with
Yeah,
this.
or
And
you
I'm
have to
like,
look
son
at
of
your
a
own
bitch.
friends list. Your 6 or 8 friends that play games all the time. Do
Yeah.
3 of them get it? Is that worth it? Or do 6 of them buy it and 3 of
And
them are playing it 10 days later? And you're like,
And I think I've burned enough of telling my friends like, hey guys, let's pick up this game and we're gonna play it every weekend. So like we've
Yeah.
all burned each other too
Yeah.
much on that, to where I don't even think my group is willing to be the first one to be like, let's try Marathon.
yeah.
Because it just hasn't worked out the last time there's been like
Yeah.
a paid to play. I don't even know what you call it. Something that should be free to play that you have to pay money for.
Yeah.
Shooter has backfired
Yeah,
on my
it's
group
just
enough times.
It's such a weird world. Like Marathon, people are like, oh, it should be free to play. It's $40, and I look at a game like High Guard that I played for a couple days, and it's like I haven't felt pressure to spend $1. Like not pressure to spend $1.
In the same range, Arc Raiders is a $40 game, and it did really well, and no one really
Yep.
complained that should be free to play.
But now they're starving for content for it. Like so,
Yes.
it's weird because like I'll give
You
we'll
paid the $40.
we'll go into
hopefully
more
make
depth
that
of it in
matter.
another episode. But High Guard did what most studios won't do. High Guard released a year roadmap. They did the whole the next 12 months. Like this game might
Well,
not
they
even
learned
make
from
it 12
others'
months.
mistakes.
So but they've got an idea planned, and they clicked from a 3v3 to a 5v5 test in 3 days. Like they said we're 3v3. This is how we do this. Blah 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 blah. And then they're like, and the feedback was like, this area is too big. And they're like, okay, well, fine. Well, you guys want it? Let's see what happens. They released a note that said we're gonna try 5v5 for the weekend. I didn't get to play it. And they said, keep in mind, you guys are fussing about performance. We're trying to figure out the performance issues. It ain't gonna help when we just add 4 more players to every map. Like,
Yeah.
So it's been interesting.
Yeah, but that's all I have for the news. We will probably have some marathon talk when we.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be another controversy for marathon in like the next two weeks, for how that game's going. It comes out in what, next month?
March 3rd, March 5th, something like that. Yeah, I guess that is next month.
Like that, yeah.
So
yeah,
but
so we'll be talking about it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we're at about an hour and a half, so we're gonna call that today. You can still use hashtag AskDigitalDays. There's an independent channel in our Discord server where you can post those questions. You can also just post in there like what you guys want to hear from us, what you want to see, what did we miss, like what something has to have happened in the last 6 months that you want our opinion on, my opinion, Michael's opinion on, whether it's a wrestling thing, a sports thing, any of these, a food thing, like any of this stuff. Like there has to have been something that's happened in the last 6 months that you guys would like to hear our take on. Post that in there, post it on Facebook, email it to us, I don't care. And then you can follow, like hopefully we can start doing some stuff on the main account on Twitter, at Digital Days Pod. Michael's is at the first MJC. Mine is at Good Dave Hunt. The Facebook group is still there, but the Discord server, like sometimes that can pop off. I feel bad when I tag everyone, but I think sometimes it warranted it a couple times as I was testing some things or giving you guys an update on some stuff. I guess ultimately, if you don't like the tag, mute the Discord, but still check the Discord. Your call. I'm sure Michael's muted me.
Probably.
Yeah. So, which is fine. It's I
mute everybody to be fair.
I know it's irritating at 1:30 in the afternoon when your phone pings and it's Discord. You're like, oh my god. But just truly like the last, and I know we talked about this before we went on our sabbatical or whatever the hell you want to call it. The Discord integration into Xbox, into consoles, or I'm sorry, into Xbox, into PlayStation, into the PC, into your phone, like it's just. I just think it's awesome. Like the ability to, like the other day, I forgot that you can just jump into a Discord voice chat from your PlayStation and it just works. So please consider linking those things up. It's the easiest way to communicate with us. It's the easiest way to jump in and to go into voice chats. Use the party chats, use whatever you want to use. Like it's for you guys. I don't want this to happen, but I would love to get a message of like, hey, there's too much activity, like too many people are jumping in the rooms, can you name the rooms? I would love to have that problem. Not long term, but just in general. But yeah, we're definitely got some things that we're cooking and working on, but we just kind of wanted to. I think I inadvertently made like a corny little dad saying it to you the other day when I'm like, no problem, we'll knock the rust off and clean the dust. I'm like, why did that rhyme like that? I was just like, that's what we're doing right now is we're just getting our rust off and making it a little cleaner for everybody. So this is the first time since before the 4th of July of 2025 that I've seen Michael's face.
Yeah, we've just been messaging each other on Discord for the most
I do have plans, by the way, as I'm telling you, I know I'm going on vacation like in 12 days, but I do have plans this summer because the Tigers will be playing the Cubs in Chicago.
Oh, so, nice.
Yes, I will be coming to definitely coming to Wrigley. So we will definitely be getting a drink or some food or something. You'll have to take me somewhere. I'll pay the bill, but you'll have to make the recommendation.
Yeah.
So
get my ass to Wrigleyville. Good luck.
No, I didn't say you had to come to Wrigleyville. Okay, I said I'll meet you. I'll go to the games. I'll go to Wrigley. Yeah. But I'm saying that you afterwards, you and I will message each other and be like, "Where are we meeting for dinner?" At like 7:00 or whatever. Okay. Like,
that would make more sense because if you're just like, "Meet me in Wrigleyville," no, I'm like, no, sir, I'm not gonna go.
I'm not opposed. You and I have been around enough big cities enough. I will either walk or get my butt in an Uber. Like I don't care. Yeah. So, or just drive my own car to Chicago. So.
You're probably better off doing that.
Yeah. So, but all right. So that is our show. Patreon is still there. If you guys have been supporting us on Patreon through this whole thing, like thank you from the bottom of our heart. Like that's been a huge thing. Sometimes to see that little Patreon thing every month or every 6 weeks show up on our email account has always kind of like made me realize that there are a handful of you that are amazing supporters, that you're truly supporting us. You're truly supporting Dave and Michael, not just Digital Days Gaming. And that means the world to us. Like, I don't really think that we had very many sub cancellations. So like, thank you, thank you, thank you. If and we've got to revamp Patreon as well. We got to figure something out. So, but that's it. So I hope everyone has a great week and keep moving forward.
Don't be a dick. See ya.
Stopping Audacity. See if I remember how to export this.
All right.
254.
My internet only messed up.
Yeah,
twice.
it wasn't too bad. So
They're coming over Friday.
oh man, Paige is lingering around again.
Ah, Paige.
Baddest Paige, and he did 5 the other day. He's doing 5 today. Thank you, Paige.
Appreciate it.
And it went to your wife and my wife are both subs now.
Yep, there you go.
He does that too. He likes to wait until he doesn't want to disturb. He doesn't want to disturb the stream. So
Yeah.
he's crazy. So let's see if Audacity is done. Oh, keep in mind the alerts work. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, no, Paige, I appreciate it, man. So it's been crazy. Did it go to the desktop? All right, guys. So that is our show. Paige, thank you again for all the subs. You did some of them yesterday. You did some of them today. I appreciate you. We appreciate you. And I hope everyone has a good rest of your night. We'll talk to you later.
See ya.